It's not just Halloween on October 31st. The other name for this day is 1031, or Real Estate Tax Deferred Day. No, I'm not referring to the latest politically correct term that we all have to pretend that we like. We can't have Mother's Day now because it's not inclusive, so it's Birthing Person's Day. Now, we no longer have houses with master bedrooms because that's a racist term, and we have to call them primary suites and primary bedrooms. How about Columbus Day being replaced with Indigenous Peoples Day? Well, it's fine with me, so long as they don't close down schools, banks, and postal services. But 1031 Day is not trying to change Halloween, but instead calls some attention to an awesome strategy of paying less or no taxes when you sell real estate. I've got a quick specific example for you. And by the way, hi again, I'm Douglas Lucky Larson, and today on Real Estate, Retire Early and Often, we are talking about the deals that can help and keep your wealth. So first, let's get an understanding that the federal government has set up tax laws to encourage certain behaviors and discourage others. The U.S. government would prefer, for instance, that investors that sell one property invest that money into other properties. That includes single-family rentals, apartment buildings, commercial rental, retail space, etc. Now, if you sell some real estate and take the gain and put that money away, it may not be helping the economy. But if you reinvest it, you're providing rental homes or business opportunities that will help grow our economic system. And for that reason, there's a provision called a 1031 deferred exchange that allows sellers to reinvest the proceeds of their gains and defer any taxes until some later time. It's not just Halloween on October 31. The other name for this day is 1031 Day, or Real Estate Tax Deferred Day. No, I'm not referring to the latest politically correct term. It's not just Halloween on October 31. The other name for this day is 1031 Day, or Real Estate Tax Deferred Day. And no, I'm not referring to the latest politically correct term that we all have to pretend that we like. You know, we can't have Mother's Day anymore because it's now Birthing Person's Day in order to be more inclusive. Oh, and we can no longer have houses with master bedrooms and master suites because that's now a racist term, so we need to call them primary bedrooms and primary suites. Many people have also replaced Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day, which is fine by me, so long as they don't close down schools and banks and postal services. Call it whatever you want. But 1031 Day is not trying to change Halloween, but instead just call some attention to an awesome strategy of paying less or no taxes when you sell real estate. And I've got a quick, specific example for you. So again, my name is Douglas Lucky Larson, and today on the Retire Early and Often channel, we're talking about real estate deals that can help you and keep your wealth in your pocket rather than send it all to the government. So first, let's understand that the government has set up tax laws to encourage certain behaviors and discourage others. The U.S. government would prefer that investors who sell one property reinvest that money into other properties. That includes single-family rentals and apartment buildings and commercial retail space, etc. If you sell some real estate and take that gain and put that money away, well, it may not be helping the economy, but if you reinvest it, you are providing rental homes or business opportunities that help grow our economic system. For that reason, a provision called the 1031 deferred exchange allows sellers to reinvest proceeds or gains and defer any taxes until some later time. Please talk to an accountant because I am not an accountant. In fact, they say that 4 out of 3 people are not great at math. And I'm one of those 4. Anyway, in the craziness of 2020, I sold several rental properties that were a little far for me to manage, and I was not happy with the professional management company. Because we had some profits, we decided to reinvest that money within the 1031 guidelines. They give you 45 days to identify replacement property or properties, and then 180 days, or about 6 months, to close with your proceeds from that sale. Now, you need to use a qualified intermediary. That's a business that's qualified to be the intermediary for that exchange. So you don't get the money in your bank account, and it's not really held at escrow. It's held at this qualified intermediary that kind of acts like an escrow company, specific for a 1031 exchange. It usually costs between $500 and $1,000 for a simple exchange. The more properties you want to exchange into, well, the more it's going to cost. And if it's really tricky or big properties, it's going to cost you more. You can certainly talk to friends of mine. They're great professionals at Full Service 1031 in the Salt Lake area of Utah. I've used them several times, and not just for exchanges in Utah. They're great. Anyway, we sold some headache properties and bought some rental homes that just worked better for our needs. So down here at the bottom, you can see here's one exchange that we did make, and one on one side and one on the other. We felt like it was a good opportunity for us. I'll go into some of the reasons for that, and some of the reasons why 1031s are just great overall. In a different video, I'll talk about one exchange that we did in over to a property in San Diego, North County, but I didn't want to get into that one here. We'll just talk about one closer to home. Now, I haven't seen the exact numbers yet on our taxes, but our motivation for doing this, when we just kind of did the back of the napkin math, was it looked like a savings of about 30 grand. And who wants to pay 30 grand extra to the government? Not me, thanks. If you're doing your real estate the right way, between depreciation of the property and some appreciation of the property, your gain can be sizable. And if you sell and send a huge chunk to Uncle Sam, well, that's a big bite out of your growing nest egg. Real estate is an incredible asset for protecting against unnecessary taxation. And if it's done right, it's a huge help to your bottom line, and the government is happy as well. I've actually been audited twice in the last 10 years because we've been able to save so much on taxes using a great bookkeeping and accounting. But both times, the federal government has owed us money. Again, that would be thanks to my wife with her bookkeeping skills and our great tax accountant who has coached us through tax saving strategies. Now, again, government laws encourage certain investor behavior, and we're just trying to do that according to their guidelines. Now, the rental property that we purchased in exchange needed a few updates and repairs, but it's been a great, easy to manage rental. I'd do it again in a heartbeat, especially to save some money from going to our government's latest bailout of some billionaire banker. You probably saw how many billions of dollars went to large companies with billionaire CEOs during the whole pandemic relief program, and billions more of our hard-earned dollars got siphoned off through fraud to foreign scammers that were able to qualify for PPP dollars. Yeah. Money that was supposed to help U.S. small businesses. Yes, maddening. Is that where you want your money going? I don't think so. Anyway, I know some taxes can be good. It's how we pay for firefighters and police officers and our schools and things like that. But some of the waste is just maddening. Anyway, On your investing journey, you will find out that no one cares about your net worth, your lifestyle, your priorities, nearly as much as you do. And if you don't look out for yourself, the government probably will not. So find the right people to help you with the right strategies, and you can watch your net worth and your freedom grow exponentially. On the next slide here, we're going to look at the real math to see how this strategy helps your bottom line in real numbers. So here, again, 4 out of 3 people struggle with math, but we're just going to put it in a nutshell here. Anytime I'm investing dollars, investing money, we've got that guy right up here. Let me get my pen. Your money. So we've got money, but we don't just invest our money. We also use leverage. That's like when you take your $10,000 and go borrow $100,000 leverage, and now you've got $110,000 to buy something, right? Leverage. Well, you take your money plus leverage plus appreciation, and there's really 2 kinds of appreciation, right? There's the kind that happens, and it's just the way the market goes, supply and demand, and if you have what the market wants and there's less of a supply, the price seems to go up. That also happens with really low interest rates because, as we know and we've talked about, people don't buy houses or motorhomes or boats or cars on the price nearly as much as they buy it based on the monthly payment. So again, when you've got those things together, you have appreciation, and the kind that you can't create. Now, there is a kind that you can create, and that's when you might finish a basement to add more square footage to the home that's livable, and now you have made your home appreciate in value. With apartment buildings, sometimes they do things to improve the complex, and you can increase the rents per unit. I've seen people in single-family homes go up into an attic space and add some square footage that way as well. Sometimes just simple improvements to kitchens and bathrooms can also help. I try to spend $1 and make 3 when I do improvements, and I think many of the investors I know try to do the same thing. So, appreciation. Now, we've also got rent as well. And when you do some of these improvements, or just as the market goes, you get rental income. But if you take all these things, your money, your leverage, your appreciation, both earned and unearned, and you take rents, you get your net. Now the net is how much you get to keep after all these other things. I have found that over about a 10-year span, and I've been investing for 20 years, but if I just take each 10-year span and look at money that I started with and what I turned it into, I can take $1 and turn it into a true net about 10 years later of $6 for every dollar invested. Well, let's say on every property that you save $30,000 in taxes, right? Because you did not pay that to the government. You reinvested that. You take that $30,000 and that becomes $180,000 in 10 years. That's a nice little chunk that's going into your nest egg over the space of 10 years. If you did that with $30,000 10 different times, that can be an extra $1.8 million. You see where that is? That's some pretty good math. So 1031 exchanges, not that you're doing them 5 times a year. The government might wonder what you're doing, trying to flip homes and dodge the taxes. But if you have a rental property that you've owned for, say, more than a year, but you need to trade out of it into something else, and you defer, and you don't pay or you defer the gains on 30,000 real net dollars every single time you do an exchange, yeah, over time, that can add up real fast. As always, please, right now, hit that like button, subscribe and share, and remember that all this is information and education and not financial advice. Have fun out there, and we'll see you on the next video.